Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Sue, your East Oakland advocate. Well, a lot of you have been asking, hey, where have you been? Haven't seen anything that you've done recently. Well, if you remember, I dropped out of the Oakland mayoral race because of medical health reasons, stemming from a robbery back in October, actually October 24th, where it was a takeover business robbery. And they didn't get anything, but they sure beat the crap out of me. And so I should have gone to the hospital right then and there that night after the police had released me so that I could go to the hospital. But because my dog and I wanted to see what they did to her and assess the damage to everything rather than looking out for my health. I should have been looking out for my health, but these are the consequences that I'm looking at right now, and not only to my health and the trauma, the head trauma that I suffered, and that I'm going through rehab right now several times a week. And then the other 2 days, I have mental health doctors that I see on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so one is a psychologist, and then the other one is a psychiatrist. And there's a difference between the two. And they're both medical doctors. That's the most important thing. But there are big differences on the treatments and also what we talk about. And so also it's very, we'll get into it in just a moment, but the difference between psychiatrists and psychologists. Psychologists have a doctoral degree, a PhD, or a PSYD. Completes, and they also complete an internship program. And that's what my previous wife had, a double master's in that, and she had completed her internship. So she could have been a licensed psychologist. And then here's the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist completes medical school. That's a big difference. Medical school's a real big difference. Also, they've completed a medical residency in psychiatry. And the big difference is that a psychiatrist can prescribe medication. Psychologists cannot. They can only talk to you and make you help alter your thought patterns and your thinking. So that's the big difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. and like I said, I have one of each. My psychiatrist has an open prescription for medications if I need it. And you're probably saying, well, why do you have two of those? Well, one keeps track of my mental situation because of my gun permit, my federal firearms license. So that's a reporting doctor, a psychologist. And also that with that psychologist does the mental evaluations and keeps me on track. It gives me an outlet to pretty much talk about anything in a comfortable, safe space because I've been with this psychologist for a number of years. And the other flip side of that is that I was married to an unlicensed psychologist because she was constantly trying to alter my thought patterns and my normal ways to no avail. And I was married to her. So anyway, my psychologist, like I said, I can pretty much talk about anything, and it's a safe space. the psychiatrist, however, there are things that you're going to talk about as on the same level, but there are also things that you're going to talk about, kind of the darker side, or what's going on deep inside of you, uh, to a deeper core level. And sometimes medications are needed in some of those sessions to relax a person. I'm not one of them. I freely talk about that to either of the doctors. But the one thing that I am very wary of with the psychiatrists, because of bad experiences, what actually got me my first Social Security uh, um, disability was mental illness for uh, severe depression and PTSD. And it was more so the depression because the psychiatrist, I actually had a suicide attempt before that. That was back in 2009. It wasn't successful, but anyway, moving on. And so I've had a psychologist uh, ever since, going all the way back to 2009. But I've changed psychologists a few times, because my first one that got me my Social Security disability, he ended up passing away from cancer himself. And then I had a second one. The second one was with me for a number of years, and then that doctor retired. So I'm on my third psychologist right now, and it's somebody that I have to talk to, and it's almost like having a confidant, better than a dog. Well, the dog, doesn't talk about anything, won't tell any of your secrets or concerns, but a psychologist can help you on a level that can be very satisfying for you, and keep you from doing things that you may be easily swayed into under the right circumstances. And so having a psychiatrist and a psychologist pretty much makes sure that I can be aware that I'm okay, and that these are recommendations that my doctors, that we talk about. And one of the biggest things that we're talking about right now is the trauma and PTSD from that robbery back in October. The trauma of from being kicked in the head so many times. Actually, it's on this side. You can still see the swelling right here from one of the kicks, which really uh, uh, fractured my my orbital eye socket, and also broke my cheek. And then another blow hit me just around the temple area that caused some bleeding in my brain, which has caused numbness, and also affected my mobility, my walking. And so sometimes I could be walking just fine, and then all of a sudden I'm not walking fine. I'm dragging my leg on the left side. So it can come on instantly, and it can go away instantly. So that was a very big concern for the doctors, because they had a very deep concern of a possible stroke, because this was a stroke-like symptoms that I was exhibiting. And sorry about that, my dog here. And so with all of that happening, um, they said, have you had any kind of traumas recently? I said yes. It was. And then you should have come in. We could have gotten that CT scan. We could have gotten ahead of this, but we're working with it. And so I'm doing rehab on that, like I said, 3 times a week right now. And this is why my schedule is so full right now. There is no possible way that I could have been uh, doing what I need to do for my personal health, physically and also mentally, and also run for the special election in April on April 15th. So also, I'm having some challenges with memory. And we don't know if this is perhaps the onset of some Alzheimer's. We don't, the family on either side does not have a history of Alzheimer's, nor of uh, memory going away. So this is something that I've started to address. Also, the other things that are happening. Uh, as you know, I was the primary exhibit in the uh, California case closing ABNI foundry right here in East Oakland because of hexavalent chromium that's in my lungs. And so the thing with hexavalent chromium, it's a toxin. It's also cancerous. It's a carcinogen. What it's currently doing, the mucus that normally would be expelled through blowing my nose is now thickening and darkening. And so that's saying that there's some issues going on in my lungs, which was expected, and it's due to the hexavalent chromium that's in my lungs. And so uh, my life span was greatly reduced with that. In fact, I'm turning 65 in February, and I'll be 65, and I'm expecting only 5 more years of life, and then the last 2 of those to be struggling for breath, if I make it that far. So these are things that are already predicted, and in a way starting to take place. And so I have to look at after my health first, then the PTSD. The PTSD all my life. A lot of you have found out that I worked in counterterrorism for 20 years, and I worked in extremely dangerous situations. Um, and gunfire was a normal way of life. But I always made sure that I was never in a position where, while I'm sleeping, I would wake up with guns in my face. And unfortunately, that happened. It was beyond my control. But now I've regained control because that employee no longer is working for me, because essentially because of my illnesses and my health challenges, I've had to shutter my business. So my business is now officially closed. I've released all of the employees. Everything is on hold for right now until further notice, until I find out how my health is going to be, and what kind of future I'm looking at. However, I'm still working on homeless issues. I still continue to fight for our unhoused folks and getting them housing, proper housing, decent housing. I'm also still wanting to share the model that I have for the Oakland Middle Harbor cruise ship district, for a new entertainment district, entertainment and residential district, and then homeless projects to get our homeless housed, not with these junky shelters that nobody wants to live in, and then you're going to go force people to live in them. No, these are homes that are real homes, real shelters that provide electricity, running water, sewer, heating, and cooling. And these are very affordable. It's on community land trust land, and Oakland has the means right now to fund this, but they don't want anything long term. They only want short-term, temporary, 2 years or less programs. And so my program is a long-term permanent settlement. And so Oakland does not entertain that, nor does Alameda County. So that's what's going on with me. The PTSD, being woke up at the end of guns has caused me a lot of anxiety once the sun goes down here in the evenings, and it's near, since things have happened, I've had a lot of difficult evenings trying to sleep until after 2 o'clock in the morning. And you say, well, what's significant? Because the robbery occurred at 1:45, and it wasn't until 2:30 when I was able to free myself, because the police finally came in, breached the yard after they literally just ran off the thieves. They didn't apprehend any of the 8, and to this day, we have not been notified that Oakland police have apprehended any of the armed suspects that beaten and traumatized us, this business here. So this is Oakland's loss for right now, because we were growing aquaculture shrimp. We were starting a shrimp farm here, and also we were working on vertical urban farming, meaning that we grow produce indoors year-round, 24/7. So we're working on that. That is now all shut down and on hold until I figure out what's going on. So thanks for joining me today. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to do these, because it's a pretty rigorous schedule that I have nowadays. Also, I'm fighting some throat issues that have suddenly come up just in the past few days, which is probably just a cold, but it's been annoying. But anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next video.